Hello and welcome back to Rugby this evening. I may have forgotten how itchy this jumper was, but I certainly haven't forgotten how wobbly this desk was. Today looked like a very close one indeed on paper. If it was opposite day, three-time finalist France faced a team who's only won 3 times in the tournament's history, the USA. Meanwhile, slightly later in Pool B, the world number 1's New Zealand had their second match against the world number 22's Canada. With such a disparity in quality, we're going to have to take a shortcut. So roll on 80 minutes in 8 seconds.
80 minutes in 8 seconds.
Yes, this is 80 minutes in 8 seconds. Only 2 games today. France, USA, Canada, New Zealand. Both expected to be pretty one-sided. So, could I have 8 seconds on the clock, please? Thank you. And here we go. First half's over. Pretty close for France, USA. Only 12 points to 6. 2 tries so far for France. New Zealand, meanwhile, they've got their 4-try bonus point already. 28-0 they lead. And we're in the second half. New Zealand score loads. New Zealand are crazy, and that's full time. New Zealand have got 63 to nothing. You know, we've broken the scoreboard. What's the point in really doing that at all? You're taking candy from a baby, who cares? France, meanwhile, had a bit of a harder time to break the American defence, but in the end, when the floodgates opened, the points came through. A flood of points came through. This has been 80 minutes in 8 seconds.
80 minutes in 8 seconds.
Yeah, so France and New Zealand then. 5 pool points out of 5. Full marks, well done, good job. New Zealand in particular looked pretty slick and impressive against a weak Canadian team, running in 4 tries in the first half, 5 tries in the second half. That's actually a total of 9 tries, by the way. The 1991 quarter-final, this was a repeat of. However, the 2019 Canadian vintage must really think that they're not a shade on their predecessors, and quite rightly too. Boo, Canada. Boo. The other game was France-USA, of course. France struggled to break down the Americas, as was said. And with 15 minutes to go, an American penalty narrowed the scores to 3 points, 12-9. However, should America have kicked for the corner? If they'd have scored and got the conversion, they would have been 13-12 up, with less time for France to come back. Maybe they thought they would chip away at the lead with 2 more penalties in the final 15 minutes, but putting pressure on the scoreboard, putting pressure on France like they had done all game would have forced the errors to continue. As it happened, America went for the penalty, got within 3, but then France ran wild, and all that happened really for America is they got a good story. It didn't annoy me at all. Let's look at the pools, since we are now halfway through the pool stages. First up is Pool B for Buffalo. Italy and New Zealand then, the only 2 teams with winning records so far. Italy have beaten Namibia and Canada, the 2 easiest games it has been possible to have in this tournament. They will face tougher opposition. As for their fixtures then, many people will point at the South Africa-Italy game as a decider to see who gets to the quarterfinals, but we're going to highlight Namibia versus Canada, which will be Namibia's best chance to win a Rugby World Cup match in their 23rd attempt. Pool C for Carnival now, from whence France and the USA came today. Does look a little bit closer, but whilst it's easy to just look at England's big fixtures against Argentina and the French, we're going to highlight France versus Tonga as the one that could make the pool competitive again. Tonga, of course, beat the French in the 2011 tournament, so a bit of an upset would be nice to revive Pool C and reignite the challenge from the Pumas. In Pool D for Dream then, it looks pretty stitched up, with Wales and Australia in first and second. And whilst there's an interesting game tomorrow for Georgia against Fiji, we're going to look ahead to Wales versus Fiji as our highlight for the second half of the pool stages. Could Fiji pull another upset against the Welsh? And would it even have any bearing on the final result? Who knows, but it could be an entertaining game for sure before the Fijians fly home. And finally, we look at Pool A for ANZ. Japan are the focus of this pool, of course. A big game against Samoa on Saturday in Toyota, but it's hard to look beyond that huge clash with the Scots on the final Sunday of the pool stages. That will be a special game for sure, with an awful lot on the line. Japan, of course, win the next 2 games and they're into a first ever quarter-final in their home World Cup. Wouldn't that be something? Find out if they do it here, or on a television, or another website. Time now for the skills test with a celebrity guest, and that celebrity guest is, of course, Ed Helms. Ed.
My name's Ed Helms, and I'm on to my second skills test.
So were you pretty sporty in school, Ed?
Not really, no.
How was school for you? How was school for you?
So, Ed Helms, how was school for you?
School's kind of a mixed bag. I think I was a relatively liked kid, but yeah, I had a lot of insecurities. You know, I guess a lot. Suppose when you're in your adolescence, you know, you're trying to, you know, find some sort of authentic version of yourself. You know, how about you?
Well, to be fair, school was a bit difficult for me, you know. There's definitely a bit of bullying going on. A lot of bullying going on. Yeah, so that's probably why actually I decided to take up, you know, just a bit of Gracie Barry, you know, actually.
Yeah.
Be able to defend myself. Yeah. But no, I think school is just a bit difficult for anyone really in any situation. So it's just a horrible place to be. Yeah. So Ed Helms, were you quite sporty?
No. Actually, I had when I was 14, I had open heart surgery.
When you were 14, you had open heart surgery.
When I was 14, I had open heart surgery.
When you were 14, you had open heart surgery.
When I was 14, I had open heart surgery.
Hang on, wait, hang on, stop. When you were 14, you had open heart surgery.
Yeah.
Why?
See, when I was born, I had a little heart murmur. Here. And yeah, it really wasn't a problem until I was bigger, but by then we really needed to do that surgery or I wouldn't live past 25 or so.
Well. Yeah. So, has it, I don't know, changed the way that you look at life?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Honestly, like, now I'm like constantly trying to, you know, push myself for new experiences and such, and I'm excited to be a dad. You know, it's not right around the corner, but you know, it's a very soon chapter in my life.
Oh no! Honestly, mate, you're gonna be a great dad. Really, you're gonna be a great dad. You're gonna kill it. Yeah, I know you are.
Thank you.
Yeah. Squirrel! Go on there. You ready to eat?
Well, let's get on with the skills test.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Ed.
Are you ready for this? Heaven almighty!
Yeah, I won't lie to you, Ed. The flashback didn't help your cause, but I'll give you 4 seconds of rugby ball shaking for getting it in the right direction. Ed Helms.
Rugby is not a good sport.
Just let him finish. Ed Helms there with his second skills test. He'll be back tomorrow, as will we. But first, it's time to make some predictions. Today, of course, head and heart were correct, going for France and New Zealand. Pretty obvious ones there. Tomorrow, Ireland face Russia and Georgia face Fiji. Head and heart for Ireland. Not even this guy can see Russia getting an upset there. And for the Georgia-Fiji match, it's going to be head and heart for Fiji as well. However, it'll probably be an exciting one. You can vote yourself. Predict who's going to win in the poll up in that corner. Look at us being all modern and fancy. We'll see your poll results tomorrow, so make sure you vote. And until then, bye. Look at all these things as well, like end screens. It's pretty cool. I really hope I've got the timing right, though. That's the main thing. I'll just sit here until they go. Or my camera runs out of